Shit. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. If anybody at all here, I'm, I'm a bit late but early. Late because I usually have 1 o'clock on Saturdays, but I was late. However, early before anybody shows up. So, let me know if you can hear me okay. And let me know who's here, who's watching, the watcher. You know, we all have a watcher, right? And that watcher is your own thoughts, watching your thoughts from above. And that watcher interprets to some of us as if it's something other than you, which you want to impress. And you're worried about the judgment of that watcher. But in fact, what you feel is watching you is yourself, your own thoughts, watching you doing whatever you're doing. So I want to see if we have normal people here or we have watchers who are just watching what we're doing. Miami Soldier says, I'm here. Hello, Miami Soldier. Let me know gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. Obviously, Miami, but let me know. Everyone who's here, I would appreciate if you let me know gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. Not all of you at the same time, just one by one. It's crickets, just crickets. Come on, get active, guys. I'm only here for about, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. Then I'm off doing other things. So if any of you have any questions in regards to thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, in regards to breakups and challenges in life, in regards to OCD, subsets of OCD, by all means. That's why I'm here. And the ones who need to have a one-on-one in more detailed discussions about their issues, as what I discussed, you can go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, www.mindthatseekstruth.com, and make an appointment for us for a Skype chat, one-on-one on Skype. So we have Just Mike says, Hi Meran, Male 34 Germany. Wie geht's heute? Geht's gut? And we have Miami Soldier says, Male 24 Miami, Florida. See, I guessed it right. Miami, I gave it away. 24 Miami. All right. Thank you for that, guys. And I guess you guys can hear me okay. So, guys, go at it. If you're waiting for me to invite you, I have. Mace Bannister says, Hi, Meran 20 UK. Thank you, Mace. Male, female, let me know your gender. Today I'm having a different tea than usual. The usual was roasted dandelion tea roots, roasted dandelion roots. And today I have stinging nettle. Stinging nettle should change its name to stinging shit. That's probably more appropriate. However, well, you know, what can I do? I have to. Apparently, it's good for blood pressure. All right. Male Mace. Thank you very much, Mace. Was that supposed to be Mace Windu by any chance? You must be a Star Wars fan, yeah? Or is it actually a real name? Miami Soldier says, My girlfriend cheated on me and left me for another guy. Should I take her back? And I thought about taking her back. What would be your advice if I take her back? First of all, she wants to come back. Does she? First, answer me that. Or is it your illusional, you know, your hormones are making up scenarios for you? If she has reached out and says that she regrets and it was a mistake, or she wants to come back, it didn't work out, whatever, then you got to know why you want her back. What's your plan? Do you just want to have sex with her? Intimacy is your motivation? Then in that case, go for it. But don't fall in the trap of getting used to that and then forgetting about what actually happened, because that can happen again. If a woman doesn't have a level of commitment that is necessary for a good foundation for a good relationship, well, then what's there to build anything on? So, in my opinion, once a woman who has been with you in a relationship leaves your bed, leaves your room, leaves your home, leaves your heart, leaves the relationship that you guys had, no way coming back. That's the end of it. Everyone should understand that there should be a level of commitment and trust. Everybody is hitting on every woman today, and the woman know it. But it's up to the woman to regulate such contacts and refute them, or, you know, swat them away. You can't be a policeman always trying to protect your woman or to be around her to make sure no flies are around. It's up to her. If she has that in her, that means she's committed and she's respectful to the relationship, to herself, and to you. But if she's looking around to see what's there for her, what else is out there, well, I got this one, let's see what else is out there. And that's how she figures out her worth and value. When her worth and value comes from outside of her, and that is not a reliable person or situation to be with. So if a woman leaves you and she doesn't understand the importance of commitment and trust, which commitment builds trust, no way you should commit to that relationship again. Unless you have no plans for her and you have not much respect for the relationship to be built again, and you just want to have fun, then at least you're clear why you want it, and you're not going to fall in the trap of actually getting used to it and then facing with the dilemma of what do I do? Do I forget about it? Can I trust her again? Oh, let's trust her again. And all these discussions in your head. Instead, have your fun, and then at appropriate time, you would leave or she would leave again anyhow. Obviously, it wasn't meant to work because she didn't make enough commitment to make it work. And if she can be swayed by any means and any reason whatsoever, that's not a quality to build a relationship with. All right. I mean, if you were abusive, if you were emotional or physically abusive, and she left, now she wants to try again. I guess that car is going out of his brain. What the hell is going on? So if she wants to try again and you have changed and so on, okay, that's legitimate reason for her to leave you. But even if that was the case, she would have left and waited for a while and then see if you change or discuss with you and see how it affected you, her leaving. Have you decided to change your manners and attitudes? And then she would go on with another guy, not leaving you for another guy. That's very weak. I don't care which side does this. It's a very weak character that with such a person, you cannot build anything. If there is no trust, there is not everything. There's nothing. So loyalty and trust, in my book, is number one prerequisites for anyone to have a chance to deserve to be in a relationship that would mean anything. All right, let's see what else we have here. So Mace says, Mace is my actual name. Oh, okay, good. Good. It's actually my actual name, sir. I get that question a lot. Yeah. Well, you picked the right name. Mace is a powerful Jedi, one of the most powerful Jedis in the universe of Star Wars. So it says, why is having an ego such a bad thing? And is it good to have at least some? Yes, definitely. Having a bit of an ego is not a problem at all. But letting it run wild, that's a problem, because then it takes over your purpose, your motivation, your support of something, and your desire, which could be out of line, may not be apropos, and it causes lots of stress, unnecessary stress. It makes you take everything seriously and turns you into a control freak, and all under the disguise of ego. So you want to have that checked, just enough of it. It's like salt or pepper in food. A little bit is great. Too much of it, you're going to throw up. Nobody stands it. And you don't want to be that egoistic, because you eventually will start not able to stand yourself, because it will become too stressful for anything that you want to compromise, or anything that you want to create a balance. The ego doesn't want it, because ego, if it's too much of it, it's the first step toward narcissistic and psychopathic behavior. You don't want to go there. So a little bit is okay. Ah, stinging nettle doesn't sting, but it's all right. I can get used to that. So we have Otto. Says, greetings from Poland. Your videos on HOCD really helped me in hard times. We're delighted to hear that, Otto. Let me know your gender, age, and where you tuning in from. I know it's Poland. We got that one. Age and gender, if you don't mind. Oh my goodness, where have you been, Excalibur? You disappeared for years. Says, hi, meron ako. Been quite some time. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's been quite. So I've been wondering if you're all good. And mace is pronounced maïs in French, which means corn. Oh, maize. Oh, that's a different. That's a different. Also here in English is also maize, but this is mace, not maize. Maybe in French it's mace. Yeah, possibly. But many different words in different languages mean something else. Exxon Valdez spent $1 million at the time, which was umpteen years ago, to make sure that its corporate name means nothing in any language. So it won't be offensive or somehow derogatory. So words could mean different things in different languages. Excalibur says, oh, that cup is magic. It gets into the green and becomes, yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's amazing. That's the favorite place of my life, that I want to retire and die there. Hawaii, my homeland, adopted homeland. So this is green, and that's a green background, that picture. So if I move it, I can see part of my favorite place on earth. And this is my chauffeur's yacht looking for me. All right, all right. Excalibur says, yeah, he says YouTube notifications are a disaster. So I missed a lot of live stream with the GMT difference, but I'll always come back. What do you mean? You don't need a YouTube notification to know that we always had, as far as we can remember, live streams on Saturdays, 1 p.m., but today is a little bit later. You're in Spain, are you, Excalibur? Am I mistaken? And if that's so, you're what, 8 hours? And you're just what, 11 o'clock, about 12 midnight? May says, I have a problem with trust issues. I know you don't talk about that subject, but is there any way to stop me from overthinking? Well, what's there to overthink? I mean, you can't actually be interacting with someone who has proven to you that cannot be trusted, and then expect yourself to trust and call that trust issue. It's not a trust issue. That's an actual issue. So in these sort of situations, it's not a trust issue that bugs you. It's the fact that something wrong was done by her. And why should you have to be okay with it? I mean, just because you're not okay with something doesn't make it wrong. There are many things that is not in line with our values, and we can't be okay with it. And that's perfectly okay not to be okay with some other things that are not okay. Okay? So, so, but you got to give me a specific example, scenario, that you're overthinking about something that is not really an issue, but you've made an issue of it because of overthinking, then we can talk about it. And whether we can here or if it's not enough time, you always know, you guys, that I have a site, mind@sixtruth.com. Go there, make an appointment for an hour, and I'll throw in another half an hour on me for the first meeting. And we'll have ample time to discuss what concerns you one on Skype. Exceller says the good news is now the notification works again. Yeah, Spain, great memory skills. Aaron, as usual. Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's not going to last that long. I'm getting old and memories. uh, when the memory kind of is affected by age, in my case, could be from just short things that I was thinking, I was doing things, and just, oh, what was that? Then I had to think about it just a bit to bring it. But long-term memories, childhood, and all the other things are just there as always, no change. And Otto says, I'm 18 years old, male. I have all of these stuff, including groinal responses, thoughts, and weird feelings while looking on another man. Now I decided to ignore all of that, and finally it gets better. Yeah. And remember, I have all these videos pertaining these topics that you said on the channel. So you can actually watch them at your leisure. Not all of them at the same day, but just one or two of them a day. And then keep watching them and keep practicing them, because you need to rewire your brain, because the brain apparatus as an organ is malfunctioning in its signaling system. That's all. Otherwise, you're not changing into anything. So I have a video on groinal response, which is very helpful. And in fact, I got help from an article that a expert in that field had written, and I really enjoyed it. So I decided, instead of writing it myself, I use her article. And let me put that link here for you. If you haven't seen it. All right. Here's two versions of it. Two versions of it. One is this one. It's a long version, which is the one you should watch, because it's a good one. I like it. And then there is another one, which is a short version, just 3-4 minutes. And that is also something that you could watch. And of course, there are two playlists, which has most of the stuff that you need, plus all the other ones that I have come up recently, trimmed from the live streams, because live stream, when I discuss things, I usually try to make it as elaborate as I can. So there's no reason to repeat that. So I'll just trim that and make it as one video and put it there to help everyone. So all you have to do is to go on my search engine of the channel and put the word HOCD, just that, HOCD. And you will see so many videos come, and then according to the title, you choose a title which pertains your question or can address it. At least you feel it can, and then you watch that. And there are two playlists, major playlists. One of them discusses the thoughts and translation or interpretation of thoughts that show up in your head. And the other one is not talking about thoughts, it's talking about separation between brain and you, and that you're not the brain and brain is not you. Therefore, what brain manufactures, which are thoughts, can have nothing to do with you. They're not you. And that concept is very important for you to understand before you can go on and come back to default setting as it was originally made for you in your life and your brain function. All right. Excalibur says the last thing I remember before the disappearance is you having some blood pressure issue. Yeah, I still do. Or whatnot. Did you get that sorted out? Well, I'm still sorting it out. I'm taking medication and I've upped my workout at the gym, and I do hikes 3, 4 times a week on the jungle. Um, Treadmill walking bothers my knees. I guess that's why my knees got affected, because I walked on treadmill after workouts years ago. And now every time I do that, like last night I did 1 hour on treadmill, and now my knee feels kind of uncomfortable. But when I go in the forest, I don't have a problem. It's just a different pace and different terrain, and that's all good. But I got to fix that too. So I'm taking my blood pressure pills, and now recently I went to a naturopath, and he believes that we should test for metals, because he says during the lifetime through what we eat and all these pollution and so on, we could get lots of metal into our system, which is filtering through kidney and then affects the kidney function, which regulates the blood pressure. So I'm on that journey. We'll see what comes out of the test. If there is too much metal in me, in other words, a metallic that needs to be chelated out or something through chelation or some herbal stuff. It may take a year or two. I hope I'll last that long. So we'll see how that goes. Anyhow, I'm on it. And thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Now, and Excalibur says, you missed the post above. Did I? Come on now. No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I did. Says, Excalibur says, one of my fondest memories is being near the ocean in my car. I remember that day. You told me you were driving with your car and you got stuck somewhere. Your car got stuck somehow. Is that the story? Am I remembering it right? Was it the same day or a different occasion? And says, near the ocean in my car and watching the live stream on my phone. It was a crowded live stream, so my question took some time to get to, and while driving back. And while driving back, you answered it. It felt like I called the radio station. Well, we don't get that crowded anymore. I don't know why, even though it's been now a long time after the beginning of these programs. We don't get up to 32 or 40 that once we might have gotten. We are very limited, like 5, 6, 10, 12, maximum maybe 15, 16. Something has, I don't know if it's the time is not right. Otherwise, I feel the topics that we cover are topics that every day to day, every person is dealing with it day to day. And I don't know what to do with it. we're still we're still struggling to get exposure. We have increased the number of subscribers. We're now almost 26,000, not quite 25,000. But I don't know. I have no idea why we are not getting. I have a TikTok a channel account, so I'm very active on TikTok for political reasons. Uh, the shit that is going on here in Canada and our government, so I discuss that a lot. And TikTok, is a control freak itself. It just deletes things and mutes things, and for whatever reason they have. So we're not really living in free societies anymore. And that gets to me sometimes because we're trying to expose the point of views that most people may not see it or may be fooled by the propaganda and things like that. So I spend lots of time there and I'm hoping to use that. And on that, I would put something on, and within a week, I had 100,000 view or 20 or 80 or 120,000. But now same channel has somehow shadow banned me. So I put the same content, and there's like 57 or 27 people. Like I'm not visible. Somehow, wherever I go, I'm visible at the beginning, then I'm not visible. While people actually like it. But the systems are geared and rigged to that nature. So I'm trying to use that channel. It's only about less than 10,000 followers there. I want to try to use it to promote the channel on YouTube. And hopefully that would help the YouTube channel so we can discuss whatever we discuss here. And so we have Excalibur says treadmill mechanics are a bit harsher on the knees. Yeah, they are, even though I just walk on them compared to the ground. That's true. Yeah, yeah. I used to go uphill, sharp uphill for few, like long time, and it was great. But it was a little bit too hot, and cars would pass the exhaust and all that. So I switched eventually to forest. That's very good. I love it. Um, Miami Soldier says, "How do I get over fear?" Well, you have to understand what fear is. In reality, there is no such thing as fear. When you compare what it was to what it is, what it could be, you create time, and then through which fear is created of what if what was then, which was not comfortable and hazardous, that I faced with, experienced, would be again happening. So it's the defense mechanism, protective mechanism that creates fear to alarm and alert you. But when your amygdala is overactive, it could do that more often than it needs. And even though when there's no danger in sight, but you become more tuned and sensitive to protect yourself, that's the mentality that you need to calm it down and get the anxiety and fear away. Sometimes, because of these thoughts are the instigator of the fear, by creating all these possibilities and if statements, what you can do to momentarily or immediately uh, feel better and relax yourself is to use the two different breathing system that we have. Pre-Butzinger complex is the name of the breathing system that allows us to breathe normally, like in, out, in, out, long or short, but a normal breathing. And then parafacial nuclei is the name of a system that allows us to manipulate pre-Butzinger complex. In other words, when you're laughing or crying, you're breathing differently with different mode and different tune and different uh, intervals. But even though breathing system is involuntarily, it just does it automatically. It allows you to manipulate that. That's the only system that allows you to manipulate the default setting. Like the heartbeat is in a certain way unless it's sick and beats differently. But otherwise, when it's healthy, it only supposed to beat according to one system, that involuntarily beating rhythm. And you can't manipulate it, but in a normal way. But the breathing has allowed you to have two systems. So you can use the other one that allows you to switch the breathing rhythm, the parafacial nuclei, and do this to relax out of anxiety right away. This is kind of similar to what psychologists, psychotherapists use on their patients in form of a electric shock that kind of jolts the person out of the rot that they have created by constantly being involved in the same negative environment. So it gives you a chance to come out of that mode and see there's a world out there and get engaged with things that are positive, and puts you on the right main road to go on rather than stuck in that trench, can't get out. And that's how it works. Is this: you breathe in long and then you breathe again, and then you hold a few seconds and you let out through your mouth slowly, and through that you will regulate your mood, and anxiety disappears. Why? Because while you do that, thoughts disappear, and anxiety is thought driven. If there is no thought, there's no anxiety. So this is how it works. You breathe in, and then breathe normally. And you can do it again. Breathe in once and then pull up again and hold and then exhale. You do that 2 or 3 times according to what you wish, or even once. You'll see a difference in your whole clock, movement, rhythm, slow down, everything slows down, and you feel much better. And then, of course, you back it up with longer meditations later on, periodically, and so on every day. Give me a second, guys. I got to get a lid for this tea before it gets cold. All right. These Yeti cups are really helpful. If it's hot and you try it, it keeps it hot for a long time and you can burn yourself. But if you're patient, it keeps this thing hot maybe for 2 hours. I've had meetings that I had to leave my apartment, and I had just poured some tea, but I had to leave. So, but put the tea and come back 2 hours later, and it's still pleasant. All right. What else do we have here? So, Miami Soldier, I hope that was helpful to you. Mace Bannister says, so my head tries to make scenarios because we don't talk for an hour. And then I start to panic thinking that it might be true. Mace, you got to give me a little bit more when you continue your questions, because I don't remember what it was. There are different people that I talk about different topics. So was it about your girlfriend, was it? Or was it about, um, what was it about? Otherwise, I got to hunt it to see what was the thread. Yeah, trust issue. So it was about your girlfriend, right? So he says, so my head tries to make scenarios about her, right? Like if you just add about her, then I would recall that's about your girlfriend. Because we don't talk for an hour, and then I say, so that's the issue. That's what you're going to be dealing with if you take her back. And you're asking yourself, well, if I take her back, yeah, that is, but isn't that worth it when I'm not really thinking that way? And she's so soft and cuddly and beautiful and sexy. I can have sex with her and all that and feel that my ego is also fluffed because she's back to me. And I don't, all these things can affect the decision that was most beneficial to you. So you got to figure out what's the trade off. I let her come in. Okay, I have my ego is fluffed. I get sex, and but all through that fun that I'm having, I'll be also distrusting her and still trying to remedy the devastation or the bad feelings that I had when she did what she did. You can't take that back. You can't replace what she did by discussion and talking. Either you got to be a person who says, okay, fuck it, I don't care. I just want to be with her. I just want to have sex. And, that's the extent of it. Or you say, that's all right. She made a mistake. Okay, I can make mistakes too. And for whatever, I give her another chance. Then you stop not trusting her and just trust her again until otherwise it shows itself. Or you just say, look, not going to work. I don't want it. I um I prefer not to have the sex or intimacy and all that, or the fluff the ego, whatever the hell it is. I want to feel comfortable by just going out and finding someone else, which I don't have that kind of a history with. So these are the things that you got to come to terms with and then make your decision. Uh, Excalibur says, oh no, not that stuck story. This fond memory is a year later. Huh? It's a seriously amazing memory skills. Even I almost forgot that. Oh, okay. All right. And May says, do you add tags to your live stream? Yeah, I do. To live streams? No, because my later on after it's uploaded automatically, yes, I do add tags. But when it's live, I don't have tags because I'm going through StreamYard and I don't know if I can add tags. I just add the title of the discussions, topics, and description of what it is. That's all it asks me. I don't see any place for tags. But afterwards, when it uploads to YouTube, then I go in there and add the tags. Otto says, what is fun about my history is that when I was really depressed with my obsession and scared about my identification, you mean identity, I had a thing called false memory, which have tried to persuade me to believe that I've done a nasty, terrible, and gay thing that I would never have done being aware. That false thought of something from past, of course, was linked with my HOCD. Yeah, the thing is, you got to get used to the idea of instead of thinking about nasty and terrible or gay thing, just don't label anything. The fact that you label or culturally we've labeled something and the label is words and the words have a meaning in the dictionary, that triggers something negative and then creates fear because that is not in line with your values, which triggers the brain to focus on it because that's what you're sensitive about. And brain is trying to find something that keeps you occupied, keeps itself by creating interaction between you. You refute it, you debate it, you fight with it. So it creates that interaction, which keeps the brain busy, and through busyness, brain finds security. Because brain doesn't find security in secured physical area, it finds security through occupation and busyness. So it creates the busyness and occupation by thoughts that could engage you, as it is dubbed negative. So when you stop thinking about any thought is negative and just say, well, that's the thought that is not in line with my value, but I allow and I accept that thoughts can exist. But instead, the meaning of the word of nasty or terrible, or in your vocabulary, gay, would create some negative connotation that you would rise to rectify or come to a conclusion. This search for conclusion is why HOCD continues. So if you just say the magic word, whatever, because who's judging you? Who's judging these words? Who's judging what's nasty, what's terrible? Who's judging gay is bad or good? So if you let go all these, just stick with your vetoes and choices. Whatever thought or suggestion is, whether from other people or from your brain, you just gauge it against your values and core principles. That's not for me. I don't care if it's bad or good or this or that. It's just not in line with my values. So I allow thoughts and other lifestyles and everybody else have their own system and life. I accept that all things can exist, but many things are not for me. That's it. I go with my vetoes and choices rather than judgment and conclusion that this is bad, that is good. These are all come from cultural behavior and conditioning. But if you put all that conclusion seeking out the window and just focus on observing and living, okay, that thought showed up. Okay. As long as I don't decide to allow the thought to become an action, an actuality, thought has no power in itself. But the fact that you've been duped to think that the brain is you, you're the brain, and brain is the intellect, and you're leader, therefore, when it shows up something with a thought in your head, you think, wow, it must mean something. It means nothing. It means it's an organ. Its job is to make thoughts, and it's making thoughts, but it doesn't know what it makes. It has no meaning. It is only you who can allow any thought to become an actuality or die by the wayside by ignoring it and just saying, okay, it's a thought. But what does it have to do with me? Why do I need to search for any conclusion? What conclusion? Whatever. And then you're free. You allow things to be there, and you're there, but you choose your own path, and other things choose theirs. You don't have to have a concern about it. It's no different than when you come out and you want to go to a destination, you start driving your car and you see a million other cars are in the road. You're not going to stop them, investigate. What are you carrying? Where are you going? What's your address? Why are you driving? What's your destination? You don't care. You allow and accept that other cars can be on the road. But I'm not going where they're going. I'm going where I'm going. Same thing. Thoughts can exist. Suggestions from people or from your own brain can come and go. That's what the brain does, makes thoughts. But you're the driver. It can never go where you don't want it to go. So just let them exist and you do your own thing based on your vetoes and choices. That's all. All right. Miami Soldier says, how do you build up your self-esteem when you have low self-esteem? First of all, who said you have low self-esteem? You said it. You don't have to accept that. You just do your best in whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Then you have self-esteem. What is this, I have a low self-esteem mean? Just think. Do you want to eat good quality food or you want to eat shit? If you want to eat good quality food, you already have self-esteem because you're going to take steps to bring about the results that allows you to have good quality food. Unless you say, no, I actually prefer shit. Well, then that's something that, you know, you can't help yourself. You got to figure out, do you really? Do you really prefer shit over than a nice, beautiful, clean, quality food? Well, if you can see the difference, well, and you say, no, I like the quality food, that means you have self-esteem. The rest of it is just something that you think magically should appear to thou have self-esteem. No, you do. But you got to be specific. If there's anything else in there, you got to be specific, and then we can discuss it. And Mace Bannister says, I have a separate question. I'm known to overthink a lot. What do you do to stop thinking too much? Look, the brain's job is to do thinking. It makes 80, 90,000 thoughts a day. And your job is to pick from it rather than respond to every thought that it makes. That's one thing. But specifically, you asked how to stop thinking. Is that your question? How to stop thinking too much, yeah? All right. First, let's understand what is thinking. So, what is thinking? I have a video on that. When someone asks you, what's your name? You say, Mace. No thinking. Instinctively, you know what your name is, Mace. So, where you come from? Florida. No thinking. Instinctively, you know it's Florida. This is not thinking. But when someone asks you, how long would it take to go from Florida to Japan with an aircraft with 2 Chrysler engine, and it has 10,000 horsepower, and it takes 18 to 20 passengers, and there's this much fuel, and how long did it take for you to get to Japan with this aircraft? That's when you got to go figure out. So from the time that such question is posed to you to the time that you come to an answer by figuring it out, putting formulations and calculating things, that time period involvement to come up with an answer, to figure it out, is called thinking. Now, how does thinking stop? Well, when you come up to an answer of a question, like you're trying to figure out how long it takes to get to Japan, according to the predicaments that I just told you, criteria that I told you, when you calculate and come to an answer, thinking stops. Because you figured it out, it's going to take me 22 hours. Thinking stops. How else can thinking stop? Well, thinking can also stop when you do the calculation, trying to figure out, and you can't figure it out. You can't come up with a number. You don't know how to do it, and you give up and say, I don't know. Thinking stops. And how else can you stop? Well, it also can stop with you without going towards figuring it out, by simply say, I don't know, and I don't want to know. Thinking stops. But when you search for an answer and a conclusion, you are encouraging thinking. So here are your choices. I think and come to an answer, thinking stops. I think, try to figure it out and don't come to an answer, can't figure it out, don't know how to solve it. I say, I don't know, thinking stops. Or I just, right at the get-go, I say, I don't know, and I don't want to know. Thinking stops. So your problem, I think, is that you constantly want to come to a conclusion and answer to every thinking. Once you abandon that mandate, I hate that word these days, mandate, represents fascism to me, all the bullshit that the governments are putting people through. Anyhow, when you give that mission away and don't pursue it, you just say, you sever the activity of the brain by giving it an order, not directly stop thinking. No, by saying, I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't care. That'll do it. All right. Dosti says, Dosti, I'm 21, Netherlands. I watched porn a few days ago. Okay. Not for checking, but for my fun. What fun is that? Fun is to go actually find a girl that would you would like and you have communication with, and then have activities and so on and so forth, and eventually maybe you guys like each other enough to be intimate. This porn business, especially when you have OCD, and you know it's the brain misuses that those images and so on, and when it's overactive, it creates all kind of things that you now go on to battle with it. Why did you come up with that idea? Why did you just don't? It's like keep saying that, oh, I have a cut on my hand, and every time I put salt on it, it burns. Well, don't fucking put salt on it. Instead they say, what do I do? Look, the simple things. It's like saying, I don't know, every time I eat garlic, I get bloated and I want to fart. Well, don't eat garlic if you don't want to fart. Hmm? These are some of the conclusions. But expecting to do something and not get affected by it, it's like expecting yourself to be a robot. No, these are the malfunctions that happens in the brain, and you're supposed to not help it. Says, but I was afraid to see naked girls because my past HOCD. Afraid to see naked girls? Dosti, remind me what your gender is. Male. Male 21 Netherlands. You were afraid to see naked girls? I don't understand. Because my past HOCD. Yeah. I saw some naked girls and got some weird feelings. I don't understand. I need more explanation, perhaps, Dosti, or maybe you can make an appointment with me on Skype and we'll discuss it thoroughly and in detail. Dosti says, I felt like afraid and disgusting feeling. What makes me even more afraid? Well, I'm it's like you're telling me right in the middle of the book. I don't know the story back and forth of it. I don't remember. Again, make an appointment with me on Skype and we'll discuss it. Uh, straight girl, oh no, star girl. No, Otto. Otto says, thanks a lot for your help and responses. I really appreciate what you're doing. You're quite welcome, Otto. And Star Girl says, just want to say I appreciate you and your channel so much. You have helped me in my recovery tremendously. I'm delighted to hear that, Star Girl. You sure are a star in my book. Just for that comment. All right. So you guys want to be star? Keep on making comments, positive comments. And promote the channel, for heaven's sake, guys. We won't grow if you guys don't talk about it on chat lines or on your social media. Share the videos that you like on your social media, because we're not recognized. Look, right now, with all the contents and the good quality contents that we have 7 people here. It obviously means we don't get exposed. We don't have exposure. Omar says, "Hey, Mehran, I've been doing better as of late with my HOCD. Good, delighted to hear that." Says, but what gets me from time to time is when I see a man, I get feeling that feel genuine. But you're calling a feeling genuine when that what causes you to think it's genuine is already malfunctioning. If it wasn't malfunctioning, you wouldn't be having HOCD. And it's malfunctioning, and you're using the same malfunctioning brain and accepting its suggestion that its feeling is genuine. It's like having a gadget checking on an engine rotation or whatever it is you're checking, and the gadget is actually broken, is malfunctioning, is not calibrated. There's something wrong with it. And then you want the gadget to actually tell you that the gadget is wrong while it's trying to tell you the engine is wrong. You expect the malfunctioning gadget to tell you that the gadget is wrong while it's telling you the engine is wrong. It doesn't work that way. You got to know, once you know that the engine is safe, is fine, and the gauge is malfunctioning, the gadget, then you don't ask the gadget to tell me, why are you malfunctioning? Then it's going to say, I'm not malfunctioning. That's what your brain is doing. It's a malfunctioning brain with HOCD, and then it's telling you that this feeling is genuine. Does it make sense? All right. So it scares me sometimes. I don't know how to handle it. That's exactly how you handle it. You don't believe the brain that is already going through HOCD. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. It's a malfunctioning organ, and you help it to rewire and retrain itself rather than taking its suggestion and its judgments as if it's got anything right and it's going to get it right when it reports to you about your feelings. All right. Testify tester AJ says, you're not alone, Mehran. I hate the word mandate too. Yes, son of a bitch. It's true. Excalibur says, you're not alone, Mehran. Oh, that's Excalibur also. Oh, I say, okay, good. Testify and Excalibur, both. Well, wonderful. Well, guys, it's been 1 hour, and I think we don't have any more questions. We only have 8 people here, and we've answered all questions. So I look forward to our next live stream, perhaps next week, 1 o'clock Vancouver time, next Saturday, 1 o'clock Vancouver time. In the meantime, be good to yourself, and to the others, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.